Hello, powerful one. Welcome to this edition of Inner Growth with Osezuah Elimihe. How are you responding to the impulses of your being? Have you ever felt a rush of multiple feelings over this presence, this sighting of something you desire? It is like a feeling of novelty. It's like you are about to be engaged in something you consider special. It's not something you are used to doing. And then you have this rush. It's as if the entire pool of your mind is turning. Okay? Now, it is not like it is actually so. The pool of your identity is being stirred. The Orient call it manas. It's a pool. It's being stirred. And what is happening at that time is that your person, your ego, is looking for an identity that corresponds with the action you are about to take. And so that your entire being, your body, your mind, everything will be primed to take that action, because mind does not know how to approach things from a new, fresh perspective. Mind, especially the ego, is always looking for a correspondence from actions, decisions of the past. So when that stirring is happening on your inside, remember that mind is looking for a correspondence from your past. The correspondence may not be yours. It may not be your decision. It could be a decision made by your ancestors. It could be a decision made by someone of your race. It may be a decision made by anybody, but that person connects with you in humanity. And therefore, mind is looking for that thing to connect with it and bring about your effective response to that situation. Now, when such a stirring happens on your inside, remember, one, mind is about giving you the capacity to perform within the ambit of that event, but from the perspective of the past. Two, you are going to be defined by that action, because something that you have not done before, when you do it, you have a lift. And when you have that lift, mind is going to love the lift, and it's likely to build a tent right there. It's like saying, you have arrived. Eureka moment. This is it. But you see, you must not allow that second leg to happen. You must not define yourself on the basis of whatever thing you do or achieve or get. So what should you do? That is the moment for you to stop. Step out of the mix and just make a decision. What is that decision? Well, we'll talk about that when we come back from this break. I am Osezuah Elimihe. You know me. I am in the game of helping you grow from inside out. That is the drill. Now, moments like this are moments that suspend the development of every human being. Because when you achieve something that is uncommon, you do something that you have never done before, you feel that this is it. And you allow your performance at that event, whether it is a wolf performance or a wonderful performance, to now begin to define the way your life should now begin to move then. That's why people say, since he got that promotion, since he got that car, since he got that woman, she has changed. You don't want that to be your story. Well, it is good to change, because life is about dynamism. You keep moving from one to the other. But we are talking about a change that defines you as small. A change that reduces you. That is not the change we are talking about. We are talking about transformational change. A change that takes you up higher, a notch or two above where you were before the action took place. Now, when that stirring is taking place on your inside, I will tell you what I have begun to do of recent. You just step back, sit down somewhere, or even if you are standing, just take a moment to be silent. Listen to all the build-ups, all the movement. Your heart might be expanding, enlarging, your breath might be falling short at that period. Stay there and say, I am not the one taking this action. I am not to be defined by this action. I am above this situation. This is just an aspect of life. It is a phase of life that I'm stepping into. This does not define me. I am beautiful. I am powerful. And I am immensely strong. As a being of wisdom and courage, I connect with the identity that best corresponds with my human authenticity. You make that declaration and don't make it haphazardly. Don't make it as if you are not sure. Be very sure and have the emotion pump up. And when you succeed in pulling up the emotion, when you are taking that decision, you will realize that you are creating an impression upon your mind. And with a short period of time, you will see that pool gradually settle. This is it. You might see the pool in a short while begin to settle, or it might even go more turbulent, because it's possible that mind got to a shallow point of that pool and was about settling. Because you have given it more assignment to do, it now goes deeper and begin to churn it. But listen, at this moment of churning, you are not yourself. What is happening at that time is that there are multiple possibilities stirring and pulling all over the place. It's not the best time to take a decision. It's not the best time to take any action. I would say use that time to stay in a state of limbo. You stay away. Sometimes you may not even say anything at all. You just stay still and focus your attention on what is going on your inside. Focus that attention on the churning and the stirring, and be aware that this is not you. That this action can never and should not define you. That you are more than the action, have that at the back of your mind. That you are more than the event, have that at the back of your mind. And when you having that thought, mind is aware of it, and therefore mind is working accordingly. The last thing mind will do is to disobey you when you are in your moment of power. And that moment of power is that powerful feeling that you have woken up. You can only create that moment of power by being focused on what you are thinking and saying. Okay, or willing. I will get the best of this moment. And the best of this moment is that which corresponds with my original conception. The conception of the source for me. That is what we connect with this thing. Now, this event is welcomed if it, in its entirety or in any aspect of it, corresponds with my original design. If it does not in its entirety correspond, in any way correspond with my original design, I release this event to go. Be selfless and learn to trust that life has your back and that the best will always ever come to you. The reason we falter and fail in life is because we allow the big events of our lives to take the carpet from underneath our feet. We allow these big events to be the definers of who we are. Maybe you won an election, you won a nomination ticket of your party office, whatever it is, could be chairmanship election, senatorial election, House of Representative elections, House of Assembly election, representative election, government, any one, or presidential. And you allow the euphoria of that event to bubble you up. Now you find out that you no longer have your center. You are now being defined on the basis of that event. That is not the real you that is functioning, and you have lost the real you before the event. Now the thing is that, let us assume that the real you stretches, just assumption now, stretches 11 miles. At the time of your birth, as you keep coming, events like these keep cutting it short, cutting it short, cutting it short, cutting it short, and they just line it up with experiences and memories and identities that are other than yours. A time comes, nobody sees you again. They say, when this guy was younger, I used to know this guy. He was such a gregarious, happy person, but now he's dense, he's cold. There is really no humanity in this person, because you have allowed knots and knots, millions, thousands of knots to be formed around your personality. Therefore, it cannot be reached. What people are now seeing are experiences, definition of life according to society running you. You no longer are human, you become a machine of the system. Don't let events color your humanity. Stay out of the event. Remember, I keep saying this, that you are not the doer in the system. This world belongs to mind. Mind does all the things in the world. You program the mind to do in line with your original conception and design, and then you will be a happier human being. But if you allow mind to go, it will create things and wrap it around you, and it will define you, and your life will become gradually locked in mind. You become mind, and mind can never know God. Mind can never know peace. Mind is restless, is ever yearning, is ever pushing to get answers that it can never really find. Mind is turbulent. You don't need all of those things. Mind is defined by the data that it swallows, that is given to it. You don't want to be defined by the data that comes your way. You want to rise above data. You want to rise above opinions of people. You want to rise above the circumstances of your environment and your society and your family. You want to be a being of power. Therefore, to be a being of power, rise above every event. You get married, the euphoria of the marriage, enjoy it, but don't let it define you. Remain who you are in the midst of all of that. You bought a new car, you become a millionaire, you become a billionaire. Remain who you are. Don't let your being a millionaire or billionaire change your ideals, your real humanity. Be who you are. Somebody told me that you cannot determine how you really are. The level of comfort that you can get, you don't know it until you have money. And that money expands and you get newer vistas into the levels of comfort. I don't want you to be that person who allow the levels of comfort open to them define you. Don't be that person. Be the one to define your status. Don't let your status define you. This is where you have power. Keep that power and roll with it, and you will be happier than you did. Because those who allow environmental influences, the events of their lives to define who they are and what they eventually become, they are changing in line with their experiences of life. They are not human, they are bland, and they will never be in a position to enjoy the new status they find themselves in, because they will not be safely theirs. And I leave you with the words of Shakespeare's Macbeth. He said, to be theirs is not it, but to be safely theirs. To be rich is not it, but to be happily and safely rich. To be married is not it, but to be safely and happily married. What is the use of getting married and you added problems from the marriage to your life? What is the use of being rich or getting a particular plum job or promotion and you add new problems, new enemies as a result? You don't need it. You need to be a being of power, so that as you move up as you, not as your office, not as your experience. That way, you have the fulcrum to control all the things around you. Otherwise, things around you will begin to control you and you flail along. On this channel, we are talking about things that give you power, things that elevate you above that which you have known or experienced in life. Isn't that a beauty? I think it is. That is how to be a human being. Welcome on board, and God bless you.